Good evening. Welcome back. I hope everyone is staying healthy and safe during this time. Tonight, I'm going to share with you some brief pieces of information and updates. Earlier this week, I shared with you a basic acknowledgement of the concern being heard regarding student grading. Tonight, I want to give you just an update of how we're progressing with the issue. While we don't have a final recommendation at this time, we have had a lot developed in the last 2 days. Tomorrow, March 26th, the State Board of Education will be conducting their meeting for discussion of how to address graduation requirements for the class of 2020. Once that decision is made, we will be in a position for policy change of our local school district policies. This obviously is going to have a significant impact on the grading conversation. Today at Moses Lake High School, on their live stream, there was an opportunity for high school staff to weigh in and give ideas of a grading solution that will work. At the core of this question is how can we meet the intent of the school closure and flexibility while still balancing the needs for learning? I look forward to additional brainstorming and ideas, especially from middle school staff regarding this issue. Please be patient as we continue to progress through this issue, and we expect very soon to have a district direction regarding the topic. Let's talk for a minute about deadlines and due dates. Somewhat related to grades is the concept of when we expect student work to be completed. As we start this conversation, I'd like us to wrap our heads around something. Some of our students call this home. This is where they are currently learning, working, and connecting to your classroom. And maybe in the same classroom, others call this home. So while we can assign all sorts of meaning to these differences, and some may be gross over-exaggerations, I'm comfortable in affirming that students across our system have a variety of structures, supports, and routines that make this time more or less doable. Let me be clear that simply giving students a Chromebook, a hotspot, and a Google Classroom isn't the only thing they need. Overnight, we shifted our educational delivery to one that's heavily reliant on expectations for parents and home involvement. We must be realistic about this variability that exists on behalf of our students. Some guidance I would like to offer around this topic includes the following. Consider using extended time projects and deadlines. They allow both for flexibility of when and how students work on them, and they allow for deeper levels of engagement and learning. We must remember we are not in normal school mode. Our normal routines have been uprooted. So in some ways, the normalcy of school is irrelevant under our current reality. Relieve yourself and students from the pressure of feeling that everything has to be done tomorrow or the next day. This is an extended time of the school closure. And finally, I hope this is not the case, but I've heard from some that we have staff who have decided to change their classroom rules, and during the remote delivery, students are no longer able to submit late work. I believe the thinking is that students have plenty of time to complete the work without daily attendance in school. I can't advise that this is a good practice, and I think it's counterproductive to the type of learning and delivery that we're currently embarking on. I am moved by the countless stories of our community coming together with donations and providing special supplies for our medical professionals and first responders. I need to establish both some clarity and expectations on this topic so that we can follow both what has been asked of us and remain in compliance with laws. These supplies are often referred to as PPE, or personal protective equipment. We recognize that many of our science, laboratory, and CTE programs may have in their supply items that would be of great resource to the medical professionals. This includes items such as masks, gloves, gowns, and eye protection. I have asked principals to work directly with their school to gather an inventory of what we have in our possession and gather the supplies in a central location in the school. I will be working directly with the Grant County Health Department for the donation of these items on behalf of the district. We must follow this protocol for 2 reasons. First, we cannot have direct deliveries happening from each staff directly to a medical provider. This is an assumed responsibility of the Grant County Health District. We must also remember that these supplies were purchased with district and taxpayer dollars, and we have to properly account for them in their donation. We have to follow reporting requirements to document these essential supplies. Please work with your principal to explore what you have on stock. This does not apply to the health room supplies, as those have already been accounted and planned for and should not in any way be included in this process. I also know from a well-intended place, some of you have thought of donating classroom supplies. I please ask that you do not donate or offer for donation items that parents brought in, such as Clorox wipes and other items. Those officially do not belong to us. They are the students and families, and we should not donate them on their behalf. Tonight, I'm going to wrap up our message with reminding us all of the importance of connection. This may feel like one of the most disconnected times in your career, and it likely is. But please watch this video and frame it with, how do we accomplish this during our current reality?
You had so much to offer yesterday. You okay?
I'm tired.
So what's going on?
Strong relationships are central to the learning process. What the science of learning and development tells us is that we need to create learning environments which allow for strong, long-term relationships for children to become attached to school and to the adults and other children in it.
When children have experiences of closeness and consistency and trust, oxytocin is released. Oxytocin has many, many positive effects on the development of the brain. So when we think about a relationship, we're not just talking about being nice to a child. We're talking about a child having an experience of attunement and trust strong enough to release the hormone oxytocin.
Good morning, Ariella. How you doing today?
The purpose of the morning greeting is to connect with them and to just make sure that I'm seeing them as humans. Like, I'm making that relationship with them, making that bond.
I prioritize relationship building because getting to know them is the best part of the job.
When I come in the morning, we usually talk about things that are happening in our community.
We're trying to build caring and respect.
The teacher is trying to understand who I am and my values as a person.
When I have a free 45 minutes or an hour, I think to myself, I could sit down and catch up on grading, or I could go and make connections, whether it's a smile or a joke or a reminder. It validates their presence in the building.
Rock it out in the art room. It starts from so much honesty and transparency with kids. It's really easy to strive to be this like idealized, always ready to go elementary school teacher, and that's not real and that's not human. When people start talking about other things while I'm still giving directions, it feels frustrating for me and I have to take a breath. My students connect most with me when they see that I also struggle and I also have challenges. It takes a lot of vulnerability on my part.
Total familiarity.
When that student knows that you care about them, when they know that you're a human,
Let's think about that.
their academic performance in your class is going to be better.
If I'm comfortable around them, then I'm more confident around them, and it's easier to ask questions and things like that.
So when you're looking at this graph, what is it that you think happened?
Some teachers I don't always get along with the best, so then sometimes I'm like, I can't do it, so I'm just not gonna do it. But when I like the teacher, I want to do their work. I'll be like, I can learn this.
You all have done outstanding work.
Emotion and learning are completely connected. If you're in a positive emotional space, if you feel good about yourself, your teacher, that actually opens up the opportunity for more learning.
Good to see.
So how do we accomplish this in today's reality? The bottom line is that our students need us and we need each other. In this lonely time of social isolation and quarantine, how do we stay connected? Trust me, a few minutes of connection means the world to people. This picture is owed an explanation. This happy young man is my youngest son, Camden, and he's a second grader in our district. Do you know what's responsible for that smile on his face? From ear to ear, that grin? That's his response as he's watching his teacher give a class message and greeting, telling her students Happy St. Patrick's Day. A simple message, maybe even a message that some would view as extra or not necessary. But if you ever wonder if the effort to connect with a student is worth it, it is. It matters. So for my dad heart, thank you for caring about my boys today and every other day. Take care, stay healthy, and breathe deep.